You're listening to the Weekend Sport Podcast with Jason Pine from News Talk ZB.
Lou Vincent is free to be part of cricket circles once again. The former Black Caps batter has had his life ban for breaching anti-corruption rules lifted by the England and Wales Cricket Board. The board's cricket discipline committees say they took particular note of Lou Vincent's full admissions and disclosures, total cooperation with authorities and participation in anti-corruption education programs. Now, we contacted Lou Vincent to see if he'd like to join us. He sent back this message. Hi, Jason, he said, thanks for getting in touch. I've released a statement and I won't be saying any more at this time. I am looking forward to enjoying some time over the summer with my family and friends, and I hope you're able to understand and respect this, which, of course, we are. Let's bring in, though, New Zealand Cricket Players Association Chief Executive Heath Mills. Heath, thanks for joining us. What was your reaction to this news?
Good afternoon, Jason. Obviously, we're very pleased, delighted for Lou with the decision of the Cricket Disciplinary Committee in England. He clearly, Lou made a terrible mistake many years ago, and which he will regret for the rest of his life. And he needed to suffer a significant penalty for that. But I think a lot of people in cricket for a long time have felt the 11 life bans handed out by the ECB at the time was a bit ridiculous, and probably didn't do a lot to help in the fight against anti-corruption and encouraging other players to come forward with information. And I think enough times passed where a number of people and stakeholders around the world have thought, look, we need to talk to the ECB, and Lou's lawyer, Chris Morris, led that to see if we could get a reduction in that penalty and sanction, and that's happened now. He's now, after 10 years, I think it's close to 10 years now, is able to get back involved in cricket up to domestic cricket level, so particularly community cricket, and I think it's a really good thing for Lou. I think it'll be good for his soul and to get back involved in cricket and in the family of cricket. But it's also sends good messages, I think, to the broader cricket community and players around, if you come across bad things or someone's trying to corrupt you or to get you to do the wrong thing, then bring that information forward, and if you put your hand up and do the right thing and tell your story, that the game won't throw you out. So, look, I'm pleased. I think it's a good thing for Lou and for the game.
How much will Lou Vincent's genuine contrition and regret have affected the revision of this ban?
It played a big part. Right from the start when he confessed and then put his hand up and told his story, the ICC Anti-Corruption Unit were really impressed with Lou. They didn't unfortunately, they didn't deal with this matter. It was dealt with by the English authorities at the time. And I've been told that he gave them more information about how corruption works and match fixing, etc., than any other single person had. Through that process he went through with them. And then since that time, he's been heavily involved in anti-corruption work, educating current players here in New Zealand and around the world, also administrators and actually government agencies. He's done some work with the New Zealand Police a few years ago to try and help people understand how not to get involved and what to look out for and how it all works, quite frankly. So, as I said at the start, he did a very bad thing and it was wrong, and he needed to suffer a significant penalty. But that happened. But he's certainly done all he could in the time since to make up for his mistakes. That's for sure. How
real are the perils and the pitfalls of the shadier side of the game of cricket, Heath, to players in the modern game?
Well, I wouldn't just describe it as just in cricket. I think a number of sports have significant issues around corruption. Cricket's just one. Cricket has been quite high profile and had issues over a long period of time, particularly 20 odd years ago, and I think it's now got really good education programs and sanctioning systems in place. But there's no doubt that the sports betting market is one of the biggest economic markets in the world. Fantasy sport is continuing to grow around the world, and that's a form of gambling in effect. And a lot of it's driven out of the other countries and parts of the world where gambling's illegal. So it's underground and run by different groups, etc., around the world. It's a real risk, I think in cricket now we've got our act together, and the education programs are such that there's no excuse for a current player to get caught up in that anymore. But it's still there, and particularly in competitions where I think in all sports really, where the red flags are if an athlete is plying their trade in the sport and they're not being paid, or they're not being paid very well, and other people are making lots of money out of them. You run risks of having aggrieved people after giving 10, 15 years of their life to a sport and making some poor decisions. I think a lot of sports around the world are in that category. And I think, just with the proliferation really of sports betting and fantasy sport, where where there's positives to that, but there are also negatives. And I think more than ever, sport as a whole needs to ensure it's got good systems in place, but above all else, it's educating its people as to the pitfalls and the bad people who can attempt to corrupt them. But as I said, if you're paying your athletes well and they feel well supported, they're less likely to get involved in the stuff in the first place. So, look, it is an issue. It's a growing area of body of work, which I think people have got to give a bit more attention to.
Mm. As I understand it, you might be able to clarify this, Lou's ban was from cricket activity full stop. So he couldn't even go down to his local park and watch a game of club cricket. Is that right?
Yeah, it wasn't really that clear. It really was a ban from organised cricket. So that's participating in organised cricket, club cricket essentially, representative stuff and obviously international stuff. So it was pretty comprehensive, and the best thing was just to stay away from the game. So this change in his penalty, or reduction in his penalty, means that he can now get involved in cricket at community level and right up to domestic level. Still not international cricket, which is fine, but for him it's a big step forward, I think, in terms of just being embraced by the cricket whānau and the cricket family, and knowing that he can take his kids along to cricket games and watch them. And he has no aspirations to get heavily involved in cricket again at the moment. He's just going to take it slowly, and I think it'll be good for him personally, I know that for sure, to get back involved with his old friends and colleagues and to get back involved in the community level of the sport. And as I said at the start, I also think it's good for the game. At the end of the day, people make mistakes in life. We've all been there, done that to different levels. His was a pretty significant one, but we make mistakes, and I think it's not inherently important. All of us embrace people, and we try and help them get through that and make amends and do the right thing, and he's certainly done that. And the last thing we should be doing is throwing people on the scrap heap. So, I'm pleased with the outcome.
And as far as the reaction from the cricketing community that you've managed to garner, it's only been a recent announcement, obviously, but I know this would have been bubbling away for a little while with those you are close to. Heath, has the reaction to this, and do you expect the reaction in the wider cricketing community to be generally positive?
Look, it's been nothing but positive so far, but Piney, I'm always prepared for the negative voice to come out at some point in time. But look, it's been amazing. Quite frankly, it's been a 12-month process. I think, as I said, led by Lou's lawyer Chris Morris, who's done a great job. But had great support from New Zealand cricket. We couldn't speak more highly of them acknowledging all the work Lou's done and wanting to make sure he's looked after. From a well-being perspective as much as anything else. And Martin Snedden did a great job in talking to the English Cricket Board. A great support, as I said, from the ICC and their key personnel there, and the various player associations around the world that Lou's been involved with in education programs. So, look, I am yet to hear a negative word. And clubs that Lou played for in Auckland Cricket, there's been a number of stakeholders actually who have just said, look, this is the right thing to do. This guy did, as I said, he did wrong. He's suffered enough now, and the way he's behaved since, and the information he's brought forward, and the work he's done to protect other people, shows he cares about the game, and we've got to actually now start to look after him a bit. So it's been positive, fine.
Yeah, no, and look, I've scanned quite a bit of social media this morning, and obviously we get messages into the radio station, as you know, about these things, and I'm the same. I can't find a shred of negativity towards this one. So everything you've said, the fact that he's owned up, he showed contrition, he's helped obviously in the fight against anti-corruption, and as you say, I think we can all probably accept that mistakes are made. He's made some, and but for him to be involved in the game of cricket again is the right outcome here. If you're chasing 200 in Dakar and you're a black cap, Heath, do you reckon we get 200 in Dakar for chasing that in the second test?
I just know we've got to believe, don't we? Anything's possible. I keep believing.
Yeah, we do. Good on you, mate. Great to chat. Thanks for taking the time. Heath Mills, he's the Chief Executive of the New Zealand Cricket Players Association. Some very, very salient thoughts there on Lou Vincent and his return to cricket, as it were. If you missed that news earlier on, he's free to be part of cricketing circles again, up to and including the domestic level, if that's what he chooses. His life ban for breaching anti-corruption rules lifted by the England and Wales Cricket Board. And by the sounds of things, in the statement released by Lou Vincent earlier, the one that he referenced in the message that he sent us when we asked him if he wanted to come on the air, he said no, and that's cool. We he has absolutely no obligation to come on the air with us. But his statement says, "I made a terrible mistake many years ago, which I'll deeply regret for the rest of my life. I remain very sorry for the harm I caused. Being able to return to the cricket environment means the world to me, and I feel very fortunate to again have that opportunity. I'm looking forward to supporting and helping the game at a community level in the years ahead and attending cricket matches with my family." Good stuff.
For more from Weekend Sport with Jason Pine, listen live to News Talk ZB weekends from midday or follow the podcast on iHeartRadio.